Hey guys, I'm back with my kind of year-end roundup kind of video. I don't know. I'm crazy. And unfortunately my notes got kind of wet, so I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. So, this is mainly just movies and TV shows I watched this year. It's not a complete list. I have bad memory and I probably did not record everything that I watched, but this is some of the stuff that I liked. So I ended up watching a lot of stuff on Netflix. Netflix came out a winner. I mean, 2020, coronavirus running rampant, didn't do much, didn't shop that much, did not go to the movie theaters all year long. I didn't even buy that many movies like I normally do. So therefore, I didn't really watch a whole lot. And I guess not a whole lot came out either because of the coronavirus. And with uncertain times, a lot of stuff got canceled. I may have to do some research on some of it at a later date because I don't know what's still going to be around and what's not, because a lot of stuff ended up getting canceled or I don't know, contracts not renewed or something. Some of it probably because of the coronavirus, and then some of it probably for other reasons. Anyway, some of the movies. I watched The Silence, which had Stanley Tucci. I can't say his name. And I think I kind of like this one, and it's one of those that's like similar to other movies, like, of course, my brain is not gonna work. Anyways, movie where, you can't make a lot of noise. It's there. It's like in the tip of my head, and I'll think of it later when I'm not making this video. But yeah, I did kind of like this. I mean, it's not the greatest in the world, and probably some of the stuff in it is conflicting, like, with everything else. So, anyways, I also watched Polaroid, which reminds me of a lot of other movies. There's movies that are similar to this. And I'm not going to give out a lot of details on anything because I don't want this video to run extra long. It's already going to be long enough. But, basically come across the camera, a Polaroid camera, and whoever you take a picture of ends up dying or some sort. But, if remind me of other stuff like that. And I watched Countdown. I think I actually bought this one, and basically it's about an app that supposedly tells you when you're supposed to die, and it's counting down, and you can't get rid of the app, and all these people are dying. Yeah, so some people have like long years and some people have hours and minutes and whatever. It's crazy, and I think I did like that one. Also watched Dead Con on Netflix, and it was kind of like about this kind of, I don't know if it was a convention or something, but there was a bunch of YouTubers and Instagram influencers and stuff, and some really evil stuff was going on. It was a very weird movie, and something about this movie I liked. I did enjoy it. I Still See You. I don't know if I watched this on Netflix or if I bought it. I'm not for sure. I think I watched it on Netflix. Yeah. So basically, do not do that, Lucky. I don't need you all shaking the camera. Stay over there. Where was I? So basically, this movie, I think it had to do with ghosts. Like, there was like a apocalyptic event, and they still see ghosts and this big mystery around it, and they have to find out what happened, I guess, to save the girl or something. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, my notes is kind of jacked up here. It got wet in the rain and it all like bled together. Also watched the Haunt I think I didn't watch that on Netflix, I don't think. I don't know if that was on Prime or if it was on Hulu or something else. But anyways, I really liked that when it wigged me out. It was about an extreme haunted house. This group of friends end up going there, and it's like real. These people are like killing them inside this haunted house, and they're like trapped in here and trying to figure out how to get out. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know why these types of movies kind of freak me out. I don't know. The killer clowns, and I'm not scared of clowns, but this had a creepy clown in it. But it's just the fact that, you know, you think about this. Maybe this is why I don't like haunted houses. I mean, my experience as a child, the first time I ever went to one, I begged my mother to let me go. She paid the money to let me go, and then I get inside and I totally freak out. I'm like maybe 5 feet in, and I'm like totally freaking out because I can't see a thing. I can't tell where I'm going, and that freaks me out. I don't like not being able to know where I'm headed to. If there's going to be a drop off point or something that I'm going to fall, or, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. Fun stuff. I also watched on, I think this was on Netflix, The Room, which as I recall, this couple gets this house where there is a secret hidden room that grants them any material thing that they want. I mean, what could go wrong with that? But of course, you know, things do go wrong because, I don't know, if she couldn't have a baby or something, so she wishes for a baby. And of course, the husband don't want the baby. Things happen, so yeah, that one was pretty good. Then I also watched Only, which I was on Netflix, and it's about a virus that kills women. So there's very few women left in the world or whatever, and it's about this couple that's trying to stay safe, and it's just, whew, that one is a hard one. It's kind of sad and everything, and yeah, I liked it though. Then I've also watched The Hunt, which I believe I bought. Of course, group of people hunting people for sport, but one woman just, yeah, she's like badass, and she's not having it. She's like, no, you are not killing me today. That one was pretty good, and it had a few like good people in it. Of course, you know, they got killed off really early, but yeah. Also, Fantasy Island. I have not seen the original Fantasy Island, whatever. Is it a TV show or something? I don't know. Anyways, whatever it is, I have never seen it. But you know, this is about people that go to this island, these guests. They get to have their most elaborate fantasies come to life or whatever. And some of the fantasies are pretty much nightmares. So yeah, and they have to try to figure out how to save themselves. So fun stuff. I did watch a lot of TV shows. I probably could have watched even more, but you know, I don't know. It's just this year, just not a lot happened this year, and I couldn't even motivate myself to watch anything really. But most of the TV shows, this was like the year for me and teenage type TV shows, or, you know, college era. It just, I don't know, young adults, you would say. I went on rampage with those kind of things. But, I mean, that's what I'm into, and that's what Tony always says. You like them teenage shows or things about vampires and killers, like serial killers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm into, you know. All that mystery and deaths and stuff like that. Yeah. And he always says, you're going to end up a killer or something, aren't you? No, I just like to watch the mystery of it all. find out who did it, you know, the whodunits. So I ended up watching You, season 2, which I believe there's going to be a season 3. This had Penn Badgley in it. He was from The Gossip Girl, and also Victoria, cannot pronounce her last name, anyways, yeah, the girl. She was in The Haunting of Hill House, and The Haunting of Bly Manor. That's the last 2 things that I probably watched her in, which I did watch The Haunting of Bly Manor this year. I don't think I listed it on my list because I've forgotten I watched it. But anyways, I did watch it, and I like that show too. I also watched Good Girls, season 2 of it. I believe it is going to have 1 more season, and that is the final season, maybe? Or am I thinking of another show? I don't know. There's too many shows. A lot of them are ending on season 3. Anyways, maybe this is not the right one. It may be the other show I'm thinking of. But anyways, I like Good Girls, so I don't want it to end anytime soon. So it has Mae Whitman in it, and she was like in Independence Day and Hope Floats when she was like really little, and now she's all grown up and she's still, yes, acting. I love her. Also watched Lost in Space season 2. This has Taylor Russell, who was in Escape Room, and I keep looking at this girl like I know her, but of course, you know, I couldn't figure it out, and then I finally looked it up. It's like, yeah, okay, that's why she looks familiar. I've seen her in that and this, and now this and that. So, but I really like the Lost in Space, and I really like the movie, you know. So that's I kind of like that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe because I've already seen the movie and everything that I'm into it. Then I watched 3%. I watched all 3 seasons, and this show finished up with the 3rd season. It's a show that the origin is Brazil, and I believed it was dubbed in English. They sounded funny. I mean, when you think about it, you're like listening to these folks and you're like, huh. But I don't know if they had other voice actors that did the dub overs or not. I didn't research nothing very well, but some of the voices match up pretty good to the characters. But then you get some shows where it don't like match up very well, but I did like this one. Basically, I don't know how you would explain it, but there's like this island that has, I wouldn't say like the rich people, but I guess the rich people or the better clean class of people or whatever they want to call it. And then you have like the slums of people that have not good running water and all this stuff, and they're fighting to survive. And they have like this system that they go through that they have to do like these I want to say games, but that's not like the right word. I can't think. Anyways, they have to go through and pass these tests, and each round they move forward and they break off into groups and this and that and partners and everything until they finally get to the end and these people make it. It is a very interesting story, and I really liked it. And the ending wasn't too terrible either. I also watched The Witcher, which I normally would say wouldn't be my kind of show. I do like some of those type kind of shows from back in the day, but I don't like, maybe not all of them. Like I said, I'm still into my teenage crap, so, but I really did love this show, and it's got Henry Cavill, who plays, of course, Superman, and he was just in a movie as playing Sherlock Holmes in a little cute movie about his kid sister, Enola or something Holmes, something Enola. I don't know. I like that movie too. I guess that was on my list either, but yeah. And also V-Wars Season 1, which I think got canceled or something. I think I read that somewhere, and I hope it's not true, but I think I did read that. It has... Okay, where was I? So V-Wars, which I think got canceled, starring Ian Somerhalder, who, oddly enough, was in Vampire Diaries. He was also on Lost. I guess he can't get away from the vampire stuff. But he's sexy as a vampire himself. And then it's funny, his real life wife, Nikki Reed, was in this, who, you know, is a vampire as well because she was on Twilight. You know, I always thought that was funny. Two vampires found themselves, alright, together. But I really did like V-Wars. I really hope it didn't get canceled, but I think I read that, and I just hate, there's so many good shows that are ending or getting canceled or anything. On my block, this one, most of these I believe I watched on Netflix. On my block is on Netflix. It's a coming of age story, and I just love these kids. They are so hilarious. This show is funny, and it definitely would be one of my top favorites. I really, really do love it. You know, they live in like the slum hood ghetto type area, and there's like gangs and all kinds of stuff. But it's funny. I really do like it. A little bit of a friends turn to some little bit of love going on. Yeah. And I also watched Elite, season 1, 2, and 3. I don't think this one is finished yet. Its country of origin is Spain. I think this one was dubbed over in English. Elliot, quit making noises. You're distracting me. But I really, really did like this one. It's about a private school and murder, and, you know, you got the haves and the have-nots. Some people got, like, scholarships or something to go here, and they don't exactly fit in with the rest of the crowd. Oh my God, cats! And, yeah. So, it's very, very good. I really, really liked that one. It took me a minute to get into it, and my friend told me I needed to start watching it. I'd start watching one episode, and I was like, couldn't get with it at first, and a lot of times if I don't pick it, like, up right there, and I don't get into it, I will step back from it, and then come back to it, and that's what I did, and I've come back to it, and I finally got into it, and I'm glad I did, because it was really good. Then I also watched Dark. This is also on Netflix. It's got 3 seasons. It finished up with the 3rd season. It is very good. It's kind of time travel-ish and alternate universes, worlds, or whatever. I love all the characters, fun characters. I can't keep them straight. This show is confusing, and I need somebody to explain it to me, because it's like, you have like the younger people, and you have the older people, and then maybe the in-between middle. I mean, there's so many versions of these characters, and sometimes I can't keep them separated, but most of the story I got and understood, and they had to kind of end it at season 3 before it got even more confusing and more out there, you know, so yes, I liked it. So I also started watching The Order. I'm on season 2. This one I like as well. It's about werewolves, witches, and dark magic and stuff. So what's not to like? So yeah, there's that. Then I also watched The Big Show season 1, and this one makes me so sad because it got canceled or not renewed, or they decided not to make any more of it or whatever. But I'm so disappointed because I love The Big Show, and I love The Big Show show. It's a good, fun, funny comedy, family comedy type thing, and it's cute, and I really did like it. And it did like a crossover thing with the Gabriel Iglesias show, which I really like that one as well. And that's got I can't think of the dude's name besides Gabriel. It's got another dude that plays one of the teachers, but he played Abe, I think, in the Selena movie. So, and I don't know, I didn't want this to happen. I wish they came back for a Christmas special, but I didn't want the show to get kicked. And moving on, also watched Dead to Me season 1 and 2, and this maybe is a show I was thinking of that was ending after the 3rd season. But it's one of those shows where it's just like one thing leads to another. It's kind of like Good Girls in a way. Just stuff keeps happening. And yeah, it's very fun and I like it. And of course, I never want my shows to end, but then I also watched Control Z, which is about a hacker releasing secrets, and then you have another girl trying to find out who this hacker is. And country of origin for this one is Mexico. I'm not sure if this one was dubbed over. I think most of the ones that I watched were dubbed over in English. But yeah, I really did like this, and this kind of reminds me of like Elite, and there's another show that it kind of reminds me of, Get Even. That is the next one I'm going to talk about. Season 1, I watched it, and I hope this one does not like get canceled or anything. But it's kind of about an elite school where 4 girls form their own secret society to expose bullies, and it really was good, and I liked it. Then I also watched Reality Z, which I believe this one did get canceled, and it ended after season 1. It's about a zombie apocalypse that breaks out during a reality TV show, and then the people from the reality TV show get trapped inside the place that they're staying. It's kind of like one of those Big Brother type things, and I really like this one. There's a feather. Okay, it's just a feather. It's not some creepy crawly trying to get me. New Year's. My feathers are flying. But anyways, I really like that one as well, but I believe it got canceled. Then there is The Rain, which the country of origin for this is Denmark and the US. I watched season 3. I'd already watched season 1 and 2 last year. The virus pretty much wipes out most of the population, and you have this brother and sister that take shelter, and they're just trying to stay alive, and they meet other people, and it's just really good. Something about In the Rain, it like, I don't know, the rain happened and a bunch of people died because they were out in it and it was deadly. But good. And then I finished up How to Get Away with Murder. I watched all the rest of it, like watched 4 seasons this year. It has Viola Davis, and this also has Liza Whale, who was in Gilmore Girls. She played Paris Geller. I've always thought she was a little bit annoying on Gilmore Girls, but I did really like this show. I hated the ending, kind of. It was kind of good and kind of, just, you know, I guess people had to die, but some people died, and it just, I hate when they rush shows like that. Like, you get to the end and then the very final episode, it's like fast forward into the future. It's like, if you're gonna do that, why can't you take at least, 4 or 5 episodes to establish that future? I just don't like the rushness of it. I also watched Selena the series, which starred Kristen Seratos. Sorry, can't pronounce the name very well, but she plays Rosita on The Walking Dead, and I really like her. Really like this show. I love the movie. I've always been into Selena and her music, and I like the backstory that they show, and I'm probably going to talk about this one. This may be one that I talk about in the new year. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Then I also finished up Friends, season 6 through 10, buzzed through that, and I watched that on, what was it? Yeah, I can't think. HBO Max, maybe? Anyways, I had started it on Netflix and then had to finish it up the next year on HBO Max because they took it off of Netflix last New Year or something. I don't know. But anyways, I ended up finishing it, but what was funny, the very last episode, I don't know what happened, if I'd just been watching too long and my phone froze up or what, but very last episode had no sound and I couldn't fix it, so I had to watch it with subtitles. But I watched it all. Also watched Castle Rock season 2, which I think got canceled of all things. I really like that show, and it's got Bill Skarsgård, who was in it, and Lizzie Kaplan plays Annie Wilkes, which I think she did a very good job. She channeled her inner Kathy Bates. She did a good job of imitating her as Annie Wilkes from that movie. So I really liked this season. I say maybe I like season 2 better than season 1. Yeah, probably so. Just because Lizzie Kaplan made it awesome. Yeah, I probably would say that. And then also, I watched Dawson's Creek. Like, I finished out the year pretty much watching Dawson's Creek. I went through 6 seasons. It was a rewatch. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time that I actually watched it, because I watched it once when it was on TV, and then I watched it again when I bought it on DVD, and I may have watched it again when I had it on DVD. But yeah, it's on Netflix, and I buzzed through it shoom, super quickly. I was amazed, and I probably will end up talking about that one too in 2021, because hey, it's fixing to be 2021, so have a happy new year. You'll probably see this afterwards, so yay, it's 2021, woo. Dang, this video ran super long. I'm sorry, probably nobody's watching this now.